Welcome. Welcome to the Life on Track online event where we share with you how to turn your hardship into peace, purpose, and prosperity, be resilient, and confidently, powerfully create the life you want. I'm your host, Sharon, and I'd love to get right into it. This interview is titled, Playing Even Bigger in Your Business and Your Life. So I'll introduce my phenomenal expert, Sharon Lechter, by first reading Sharon's bio because she is absolutely incredible, and I don't want to leave anything out. Sharon Lechter is internationally recognized as a financial literacy expert and keynote speaker. Forbes recognized her as one of the top 10 keynote speakers. She's a New York Times bestselling author, successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, and has enjoyed a 35-year career as a licensed CPA. Sharon co-authored the international bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad and 14 other books in the Rich Dad series. In 2008, when the economy crashed, she was asked by the Napoleon Hill Foundation to help re-energize the teachings of Napoleon Hill. Her best-selling books with the foundation include 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich for Women, and Success and Something Greater. She's also featured in the movie Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, is the only woman inducted into the Personal Growth Hall of Fame, and is featured in the new television series, The World's Greatest Motivators. Welcome, Sharon, to the Life on Track online event.
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. I'm delighted to be with you. Thank you for including me.
It's an honor and a privilege. I absolutely love you. I love your work. And the first question that I ask every expert in this event will always be the same. And the reason I like to ask what I'm about to ask you, Sharon, is for those of you who are listening, you can hear that at some point in our lives, we've all experienced that moment when a door closes and we're navigating the dark hallway looking for that next door to open. So, Sharon, what would you say was the biggest motivating factor behind your decision to focus much of your work on what it is that you do today?
Well, that was actually back in 1992 when our oldest son went off to college. And he left in September, came home in December, and he was in credit card debt. And we didn't even know he had a credit card. So I was pretty mad at him, but I was more mad at myself because I thought I had taught him about money. And I realized how little financial education we're teaching our children in school. So that was December of 92. And that's when I dedicated the rest of my career to financial literacy, financial education, and supporting entrepreneurship.
That's incredible. And, yeah, they don't learn much about money in school. That's for sure. And the topic that you're going to speak to today with us regarding playing even bigger in your business and your life is what does it mean to play big, and is there a formula for success? I'm so excited about this. Go ahead.
Well, absolutely. For your listeners, they may or may not know that I built the Rich Dad organization, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and 14 other books. But when I made the decision to leave that organization, I got a call from the Napoleon Hill Foundation during the economic collapse in 2008. And so I wrote my first book with them was called 3 Feet from Gold. And it was talking about the number of people who just quit before they get to the success line. And as part of these interviews that we did, we came up with the personal success equation, which really has become the foundation of everything I teach now, because everyone listening right now, I'm asking you to write this down and think about how it applies to yourself. And it's not difficult, but it definitely reveals opportunities. Personal success equation is P plus T, which is passion plus talent. And so passion, you've heard, do what you love, love what you do. Well, in my case, passion was something that made me mad. I was angry. And so I ask you to think about yourself. What is your passion? And then what's your talent? For me, my talent was my degree in accounting, my experience as an accountant, plus all of my publishing experience. And so most of us stop there. We think we have to do everything on our own. And truly, when we work with people, that's so true. Everyone wants to do everything themselves. But the next element in that success equation is times A, and that A stands for the power of association. To truly play big, both in your life and your business, you need to surround yourself with the right people. People who challenge you, people who are strong where you are weak, people who can open doors for you, a mentor, your team. So the power of association is so important. And then there's a times A, which is taking action. So many times we know what we're supposed to do, we just don't do it. Anybody feel busted? Yeah, So passion plus talent times association times taking action, and then at the end plus F. And that F is for faith. Faith in yourself, faith in what you're doing, faith that it's needed and necessary, faith that you will succeed. And in way too many cases, that F is fear. And that's what holds us back. Fear of the unknown, fear of the criticism, fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. So again, look through your personal success equation. Passion plus talent times association times action plus faith in yourself. And then step back in your business and say, every successful business either solves a problem or serves a need. And so identify what problem you're solving or what need you're serving. And that's going to help you get through the tough times. When I get up in the morning, sometimes I just want to roll over and pull the covers over my head, but I remind myself what problem I'm solving, and that takes it outside of me and gets me to jump out of bed, and I can continue moving forward. Because at the end of the day, businesses that solve problems and serve needs are successful. But to play bigger, you need to look at that power of association. I have many mentoring clients, and when I first start working with them, I take them through that personal success equation. And then invariably, the two areas that need the most work are the power of association, right? Maybe the mentors who got you to where you are today are not the right ones to get you to where you deserve to be. And then fear, that faith. Instead of having faith, they don't have enough confidence in themselves. And so we start working with them in both standing in their own power, surrounding themselves with the right people that challenge them and support them. And invariably, you start seeing exponential results. And so I challenge each of you to say, who are your associations right now? List them out. And are they challenging you? Are they driving you forward? Are they opening doors for you? Maybe you need to start seeing, a lot of opportunities are already right around you. You might just not be spotting them quickly enough. And a mentor can help you do that. A mentor will open doors for you. They can see opportunities. Last month or so, I heard a quote that I just love, and I'm using it all the time now. A smart person learns from their mistakes. A genius learns from other people's mistakes. And I love that because that's the power of having a mentor. They've been there, done that. They can help speed your way around pitfalls, open doors of opportunity, introduce you to their networks, and propel your business in the right direction. And so it goes back to that personal success equation, your passion and your talent. And if you don't feel like you're passionate, you can go to personalsuccessequation.com. I've got a paper that you can, a workbook that helps you walk through your passion. What is your passion? And what is your talent? All right? And your talent may be what you learned in school. It may be something different. And understanding that you have a gift. Every one of us has had things that stopped us in our tracks. And we've learned from that. And there are people out there that can benefit from what you know. Every one of you is an expert. Nobody's had your successes. Nobody's had your learning opportunities. And you're still here for a reason. And there are other people that can benefit from what you know. And so when I work with people, I get them to understand their own unique expertise and then help them create the authority around that expertise that can help them play big. Because the Play Big movement is about being number one in your field, living your legacy, and creating maximum impact. And right now, we need that more than ever. Living your legacy is with every heart you touch every single day. And it's so important for each of us to really, if you're going to work hard, you might as well work smart. Work on your business, not just in your business. Make sure you have the right team. And make sure that you have the right powers of association driving you to success.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Passion plus talent times power of association times taking action plus faith rather than fear. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. In my own personal experience. When I was younger, I had cancer, and when I was going for treatments, I was 25. It was 1991, and it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoblastic lymphoma. And at the time, nobody lived, with that diagnosis. But I would go in, and I felt sorry for everybody else around me because everybody looked so sad in the waiting room that I just wanted to cheer people up. And so I was, just inspiring and just telling stories and just trying to make them laugh, and even in the treatment room. So years later, when I lived, and the doctors would tell me a few times I was going to die, and I would ask them politely to just leave my room. And I did a lot of going deep, a lot of reading, a lot of meditation, creative visualization, a lot of work on myself during that time. And so the doctors, and then I went on to have 3 kids. That miracle kids. The doctor said I'd never have kids, and I had 3. So doctors started having patients call me at home to help them get through the trauma of the diagnosis. So I started letting my 3 little babies spill Cheerios all over the floors. I'm getting families through their crisis. And that's how, and then the doctors told me I should do it for a living because I loved doing it. And it was something that came so naturally for me. But my response was, I can't take money from cancer patients. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? And they said, Erin, what do you think we do? What do you think? They were oncologists, what do you think we do? What do you think? And then I thought about it. I said, oh my God, yeah. My idea of taking money from somebody who was sick, I had to really do work on that. And that's how I started life coaching. I love this. I absolutely love this. So
and you're solving a problem serving a need. Those people need somebody to help them, guide them through the emotional aspects of what they're going through.
Well, that's the whole thing, Sharon, and even it generalizes out. I work with more than just cancer patients now. I work with anybody in transition, and it's about just getting focused and fearless and excited about life and excited about the future. We're so distracted by so much negativity, especially now with COVID and the riots and everything going on in the world now, that we're just. I did a summit last year that was Communicate Confidently at Home in the Workplace, and that was about distraction, getting people past distraction. That's nothing compared to what's going on now. Now it's like on steroids. Back then, people were following a Pokemon into oncoming traffic. They were so distracted. Now it's so incredible. And the work that you do, you empower people like myself, people like everybody that you really meet. Your life and what you've done and the books that you've written. I love that book. I read that book 3 feet. I think I've read every one of your books, but I read the book 3 Feet from Gold, and it's an eye opener because so many people do quit right before they succeed, right before they're about to make that breakthrough. Can you speak to that a little bit? When people stop because they think that they tried too hard, that it's just never going to work, and then they quit. Can you speak into that a little bit?
Well, certainly. A lot of times, you've worked and you have this vision, you're all excited, and you're putting the elbow grease and the energy, and you may very well not have the right association to get you over that finish line, but you're almost there. You're very there. But then all of a sudden you start having, you use the word distractions. How about distractors? People in your life that say, oh my gosh, why are you still pushing that? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And all of a sudden that faith in yourself is starting to be turned into fear of failure because you're letting other people distract you from what you want to create and what you want to succeed. And so many times, and that's the stories that we share in 3 Feet from Gold, were people that truly succeeded through those dark times because they understood that they were on a mission, that they had something to do and they had value and they would get there. And they didn't let those distractors, those people pulling them back, hold them down. They had that perseverance, that persistence. And some of the messages in there are just amazing, related to the importance of mentorship. Another one related to don't make decisions in a valley. Too many times, I tell people high emotion means low intelligence. So catch yourself when you're in an emotional spot. Don't make a decision. Bring in the right people that aren't as emotionally attached so you can make a reasoned decision as to what you need to do. And then perseverance is so very important, and it's something that so many people just give up. And part of it may be the fact that we are into instant gratification and people want overnight success. But, you've put in the effort, you've put in the work, you've built the foundation, and now the time is to start reaping the rewards by serving more people. And that's all about playing big, because if you're not playing big, then you're not going to succeed to the level that you deserve to.
Very true. And what you just said, when I used to say, when in doubt, do nothing. But what you just said is so much more powerful. When in doubt, bring people in that can help you make a decision.
That are not emotionally involved. Yep.
Right. Yes, exactly. Not family or really close friends. Yes. Yeah. That are not emotionally involved. And it's like from Think and Grow Rich, how Napoleon Hill would say, indecision leads to self-doubt, self-doubt leads to fear. And it always leads back to not making a decision.
And indecision
right?
is a decision, right? By being indecisive, you're deciding not to continue moving forward.
Good point. And procrastination is also just another word for indecision.
Yep.
And you help people. I mean, this is what you do, and you're so genius. And I learn from you. So when I speak to people and I bring that to light, indecision leads to self-doubt, self-doubt leads to fear. Once they have that aha moment, like just make a decision, stand committed in that decision, knowing you could change your mind. You know, when you realize that a better decision can be made, let go of the negative feelings very quickly. Don't beat yourself up over it, or worry what the neighbors are going to think or anything like that, and just always carry the lesson forward. But you won't go into self-doubt if you're in indecision, just like you won't be in fear if you're in faith.
Well, sometimes people are somewhat numb. Certainly what's happened in the last few months with the virus and the financial setbacks, people have been, fear does one of two things. It paralyzes you or motivates you, and too many people have been paralyzed by the fear. And that brings, to mind the book Outwitting the Devil, which Napoleon Hill wrote as intended as a sequel to Think and Grow Rich, because he realized when he released Think and Grow Rich in 1937, he realized even though people read this and it lays out what they need to do, many of them won't do it because they're fearful. Their fear of poverty, their fear of failure, their fear of loss of love, fear of old age, fear of criticism. And it was hidden away for 73 years, and I had the absolute pleasure and honor of bringing it out in 2011. And it's a little in your face, but it is absolutely a revelation on how that fear cripples us. And until January, I used to talk about that I felt in today's world the fear of criticism is what was so pervasive, holding people back, comparing ourselves to everybody else, fear of missing out, right? And of course, then in the book, he talks about, it's an interrogation of the devil, for those of you who have not read it, and he says you can believe I'm talking to the real devil or a man-made devil. Will you derive any benefit from what I share? But in it, he talks about his most powerful fear to cripple people is the fear of death and the fear of poverty. So with COVID, we had the fear of death with the illness, we had the fear of poverty with the economic collapse,
mm-hmm.
and then the fear of isolation. It was like the trifecta of fear, and you could see it through people just almost like their eyes would glaze over. They've been in this numbness state, and so Outwitting the Devil has just kind of emerged again as an incredible tool for people to identify how to get rid of that fear, how to get past it, how to turn it into focus and motivation to keep moving in the right direction.
And I read that one too. You're out, and I'm so glad that you brought that up about COVID and everything else that's going on right now with the fear of death and fear of finances and fear of isolation. I'm in New York on Long Island, and it's all of the above on steroids. It's that way for everybody around the world. And we're not, as human beings, we're just not meant to isolate. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a hugger. I'm very corny and mushy. Like I like hugging people and being around people. Having to stay at home and wear masks and when you're around with friends, it's so not natural. But we know we have to do what we have to do to keep everybody safe. And when I was reading Outwitting the Devil, I was thinking like the devil was really the ego for me, the way I was reading it.
Yeah,
right? Like
and it is many people, and the man-made devil, that negative thinking, that negative self-talk, that he says, I'm not good enough, I'm not bright enough, I'm not an expert. And that's, it is pervasive. People, that lack of self-confidence.
It's paralyzing. The inner critic is it's paralyzing, and it's the subconscious. And if you could retrain the subconscious, and it's all repetition. It's just literally all repetition. Because if you repeatedly say that you can't do something, like Henry Ford said, if you think you can, I think you can't. You're right. But if you repeatedly tell yourself something that you can't do, you're going to believe it. So then when you have the opportunity to do it, you'll go into fear because you believe you can't do it. But if you keep telling yourself, look in the mirror, look in your eyes, and say, I can do this, I can do this, and really believe it with every fiber of your being, after a while, you'll do it. You'll be able to do it. I would love to see everybody just get the self-confidence. And I say first it's the courage, then it's the confidence, right, Sharon? First it's the courage.
Absolutely.
First you take that step first. Very few people, I don't want to say nobody, very few people are born with just the utmost confidence and they can just go out and do anything. Barbara Streisand still throws up before a concert. She gets so nervous. And she's one of the best speakers we've ever had. And, but first the courage, then the confidence. You're just so brilliant, and you wrote Think and Grow Rich for Women, which I read because I love your work, and you're one of literally less than a handful of authors that I get really enthralled with, and all of your writing I'm captivated by, and Think and Grow Rich for Women is great because when it was written in the 30s, by Napoleon Hill, it was meant towards men because they were the ones working. Women were home, raising the kids and, maybe being a teacher or something like that. And so you took it and you made it for women, and you included all of these different, very highly successful women, one of whom Sharon Sumter. She's a coach of mine. And just amazing book. Can you tell me what they recruited you to come in and do this?
Yes. After we did 3 Feet from Gold, the month we were releasing that was when they reached out to me with the manuscript for Outwitting the Devil. And as we were completing Outwitting the Devil, we had Don Green, who's the CEO of the Foundation for Napoleon Hill, called me and said, let's talk about this, because for much of my career, I resisted doing a book for women because I feel the steps to success are the same for men and women. But as I got further along, I was realizing that even though the steps are the same, we approach them quite differently. And so to be able to take Think and Grow Rich, honor Napoleon Hill's work, but then also look at those steps to success through the eyes of successful women. And then I share how each of those success I've used in my own career. And then I have over 300 women that are highlighted in the book. It was such a fun project and so meaningful, because for a woman who reads it, she might read one story and say, that's not me. But the next one, oh, my gosh, I can do that. And so it's just women supporting women. And then I also highlight men, because there were 2 reasons that I made the decision to move forward in that book. And one was I was tired of all the negativity, all the women complaining and criticizing about all the men standing in their way. Is there more progress that women need to make? Of course there is. But let's celebrate the progress that has been made. Let's celebrate the fact that we have come a long way and that women are doing beautifully, and let's celebrate that. And then let's also celebrate the men that have helped us, because if we celebrate, we will get more progress more quickly than if we're out there complaining and criticizing all the time. Yes, there's more work to do, but let's do it in celebration, not destructively with negativity. And then the second concept was I was so tired of the number of people fretting over work-life balance. So many more women than men. And I tell you, there is no balance. We are always moving. We're always going forward, sideways, or backwards. We're in constant motion. The word balance belongs in the yoga studio or the dance studio. And so, I say, and when you use precious time today worrying over work-life balance, you're just making it worse. So my definition of the word worry is to pray for what you do not want. And so and I happen to be a champion worrier, and so when I got that definition, it really helped me, because now I catch myself when I'm in a state of worry and say, okay, Sharon, don't focus on what you don't want to have happen. Let's retrain my brain to focus on what I do want to have happen. And it's magical, and I've had women all over the world who've reached out to me years later saying the impact that has had on them. But as it comes to work-life balance, we have work, we have family, we have spiritual, we have physical, we have financial, our community. We have so many aspects of our life. And so the very last chapter, which is the only chapter that's not in the original Think and Grow Rich, is called One Big Life. And so I want women to stop wasting precious time today worrying about work-life balance and realize that if you didn't spend enough time with your kids yesterday, just make a different choice today or tomorrow, and understand that to strive for one big life in all aspects of your life.
I love it. I love it. Worrying is a prayer. I'm going to paraphrase it now. Worrying is a prayer of what you do. Worrying is praying for what you don't want.
Right.
I mean, that sums it up in a nutshell, because you're attracting to you.
It's pretty powerful. It's
yes.
To worry. To worry is to pray for what you do not want. So stop it.
That is powerful. Yeah, so stop it. Yeah. And and if you're into the law of attraction, you don't want to bring more of what you don't want to you. That's for sure. And I agree with thanking men also. And my boys are 22 and 18, and my daughter's 17. So I don't ever want to leave anything out or bash. Do the whole. I don't go down the men bashing thing either. And my father was my father's a PhD in philosophy, and we'd have really deep conversations growing up, and I love it. I loved it growing up, and I love it. He turned 80, still teaching at St. John's University, teaching college kids, and he's 80, driving from Garden City into Queens. But so it's nice, like you're saying, to come from a positive, uplifting, enriching, place of gratitude for the men in our life, knowing that we've come a long way, and there's still things that we can keep moving forward for us. You really are incredible. You're incredible. And then you have and we're running out of time, and I want to respect your time. There's a whole financial side to you with the real estate and investing, and you just hosted a summit that I watched for the majority of the day, Assets Are Sexy, which was a phenomenal summit, absolutely phenomenal
Wonderful.
Summit.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic day.
That was an amazing summit. You did a great job. That was an amazing summit. Assets Are Sexy. So I want to get into your free gift, and your insight, first of all, is incredible. Your wisdom is so deep, and I want to thank you for sharing all of this with the listeners and I. It's incredible, again, wisdom and insight and knowledge. And for all of you listening to this interview, you can find the 4 free gifts from Sharon right here in the same email that you found this link for this amazing interview. So just click on the link. And Sharon, can you tell us about the gift and anything at all that you're working on now, anything you'd like to promote?
Certainly, yeah. If you go, it's gifts.sharonlechter.com/4gifts. And on that landing page, you're going to find more information about how to overcome your obstacles, overcome the fear. Part of it is about outwitting the devil. You're going to find some segments about you and your money, how to take control of your life, as well as a link to my podcast, which is the Play Big Movement with Sharon Lechter, and then also how to grab hold of your credit and improve your credit. We want to support you in every step of the way, particularly right now, because if you can find yourself grounded financially, it helps take care of a lot of that fear. And so we want to support people taking the steps needed to create get rid of the financial fear, and let's turn it with financial stability.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. And we live in an abundant universe, and stay focused on gratitude and what you do have even if it's the cool side of the pillow, right? Stay focused on what we do have. And there's plenty for everybody. You know, you don't have to look over your shoulder or try to pull somebody else down. You could just, you know, stay focused on your goals and wish everybody well as you're doing it, and know that there's an abundance out there. So thank you so much, Sharon Lechter. You are amazing. Amazing.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. And everybody listening, you are the CEO of your life. Take action today. And thanks for being with us, and I appreciate that, and I look forward to the next time.
Beautiful. And if you could hold on for literally 30 seconds so I can thank you appropriately offline, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, today's interview with Sharon Lechter was absolutely amazing. She's brilliant, absolutely incredible. We're so blessed, so fortunate to have her as a significant part of this Life on Track online event. It's not about getting your life back on track. It's about getting your life on an even better track. So stay tuned each day as my colleagues and I bring you more information and insight on how you can live your life on track. Have a magnificent day, everyone, and remember to live onward and upward. Love ya.